I gave it a shot. I know some of you are not going to believe this, but I gave it a shot. I really did. I really, really did go into this with an open mind. I did. Again, with the Final Fantasy games, every single one, I go into them with an open mind. I don't want to hate them. And even though I did the whole betrayal shtick with the Bureau, as it's so called now, although they pulled this shit with the XCOM, they had to put that fucking dig in there with XCOM declassified. Even though I did the whole betrayal shtick, I don't want to hate the game. Maybe it was okay. And apparently, you know, I kept hearing about how, seriously, I think this game's been in production since 2006. This game has been in development hell for years. A long time. This has been one of the most... This game has been, like... It's really been a hellish production. It's been... I think they've, like, torn this game down to scrap for 3 or 4 times. Not been pleasant for the guys who've been developing this. I do not envy them this task. But, you know, I saw this game go around twice at E3. When I saw it, I was not pleased, as you might imagine. I did not see it at the last E3. I think Miles did, and he said, yeah, it looked like what it looked like the other 2 years. It looked like a Mass Effect clone. It is. I gave it a fair shot. I really did. I went in there not wanting to hate it. I promised, I live streamed it. I thought, and really, I was willing to overlook the XCOM thing. Okay? In fact, because I honestly thought they were going to minimize that factor. Because like I was like, okay, forget the XCOM thing. Just fuck it. I was like, fuck the X. Because really, when it comes to the gameplay, it doesn't matter. The setting, like, who gives a shit? You know, like, okay, I can get over it. I really can. Like, because okay, like, who gives it? XCOM. It's set. It's set in the 1950s. This isn't gonna fucking ruin XCOM for me, okay? Like, XCOM, whatever, you know. It's whatever I want it to be. You know what I mean? It's not gonna taint the original XCOM game for me. Fucking XCOM Interceptor did that, you know. There's a shitload of fucking stupid XCOM games out there. This isn't gonna... It's not gonna ruin the other XCOM games. This is just a fucking another stupid XCOM game. The fact they made it into a first-person shooter is not a third-person squad shooter, whatever, is fucking stupid, but no stupider than other shit they've done. So I was like, setting, whatever, you know. This is why I said I was willing to give it a fair shake, because I was like, you know what, fuck it, 50s XCOM, whatever. So I was like, so how's the game? You know, I was like, does it at least play okay? And really, ripping off Mass Effect, there's worse things you could do. It was like when I saw a Final Fantasy Versus 13, which is now Final Fantasy 15. And I know you've probably heard this before. I was like, okay, fuck the setting. I hate the setting, but fuck it. I was like, when I saw the gameplay, I was like, it's ripping off Kingdom Hearts. Good! Kingdom Hearts is good! Rip it off! I approve! Rip off, like, their shit, like, that Kingdom... At least don't rip off fucking Final Fantasy 13, because that sucks. Rip off Kingdom Hearts, please! I like Kingdom Hearts. So I was like, If you're ripping off Mass Effect, I hope you do a good job. No, they don't. Fuck, they don't. They really don't. I have to reiterate, this is not a Spoony hates everything moment. And this is not me being butthurt about that. It's really not. Because I'm very careful about that, you know. I'm trying to be fair. I went in there, I was like, how is it? It wants to be Mass Effect. It rips it off shamelessly. The radial menu for your squad. You have 3 guys, you run around and you do the Mass Effect shit. When you run into aliens, it's stop and pop cover shooter. You run into waist high walls. You jump up and you shoot shit. And you slow time and you can order movement and you order them to do powers out of a radial menu. It's Mass Effect. There's no... Actually, is there Connect? No. No, there's no Connect. So, and then there is an attempt at a story, which I'll get to. But when there's dialogue options... Yeah, there's a story. When there's dialogue options, it's in a little radial menu. It's like fucking exact. It's a radial menu. The only thing I wish... Well, not the only thing. I wished so badly that there were renegade interrupts, because I wanted to fucking deck so many of these bullshit characters and boring-ass voice actors. This story is so boring. Where I've got to start is how bad... Okay. I'm going to start with the graphics. I could tell right away, ever since the first time I saw it at E3, they were really trying to find the game's identity with the art style. They were really struggling from day one, trying to find a kind of iconic art style for this game to make it look not cartoony, but to give it its own look, and they never really managed to find it. Same thing here. There are parts when this game looks pretty slick, but most of the time this game looks unfinished. A lot of time this game looks half done. The aliens, for the most part, look okay. The human characters, on the other hand, look half-finished. Carter, the main character, looks pretty good. Everyone else, on the other hand, looks like crap. There are some scenes where the lip sync looks fine. Other characters, the lesser characters, the lip sync is atrocious. Some characters have really, really shitty textures on their uniforms. Really, really muddy ones that are low-res and crap, like their hair. Other characters have really, really glossy, horrible textures, or really, 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 like, horrible, glossy hair that looks like plastic. Extremely distracting and incongruous to other graphics around here. It's unbelievable. This really looks like PS2 era graphics sometimes. There was one time when I ran into two army officers guarding a door, and they used the exact same character models for the 2 army officers side by side. I mean, the exact same army officer. It was like, oh my god. Really lazy design in some places. There are times when, of course, there's the obligatory audio logs, picture collection, and boring as dirt, note collection, text logs that you really... I mean, you can read them, but you could basically write these things in your sleep. Because the story is so stock and so boring. My favorite thing is when you find reel-to-reel audio logs just laying around everywhere. These gigantic reel-to-reel films that you walk up and you hit the X button to click on them, and you just hear them playing, like, out of nowhere. Like, how are you hearing these things? Is Carter, like, threading them through his head, like, putting one end in his ear and playing them through his head? Like, what the fuck is going on here? There are so many ways that you could have done this, that you could have gotten this information that didn't involve gigantic reel-to-reel films. It's so... I can't even believe the way that this was handled. It was just like, we had to find a way to involve audio logs, because every game like this has audio logs, you know. So we had to, so how do we do reel-to-reel tape? Like, who fucking sat there, who recorded gigantic reel-to-reel footage in a diner of, like, two people talking for no reason, and then just left it on the camera?
Well, good morning, Earl.
Not great, darling. I must be coming down with that bug.
Oh, and on the big day? Bad luck. You just sit right down and I'll get you a hot cup of tea.
You're a real lifesaver, Becky. Ooh, come on, Earl. Pull yourself together. Ain't no cold gonna keep you from that parade.
The plot itself is, you know, the most generic. You could have written this in your sleep. It's like this, it's just this generic shadow agency, you know, men in black killing aliens. Aliens attack, and we don't know where they came from or what they want, but they want, you know, they want our resources, and, you know, they are legion, but they are one, and so there's an infinite number. But guess what? They all communicate through a hive mind called Mosaic, and so our only chance is to take one ship and, you know, penetrate the hive mind and destroy it. And if we send one ship with a small elite team of guys and we destroy the hive mind, then we'll bring down the entire alien force. Does that sound fucking familiar or what? You know, it's so boring. This is every fucking alien invasion movie ever. And, you know, and maybe that's the point. Like, maybe that's easily what they could have been going for, is like every single 1950s alien invasion movie ever. But if that's what they were going for, if that was the idea, they needed to cheese it up. Like, they really needed to go for, like, they needed to go for kind of campiness, because otherwise this is so boring. And it is boring. Like, the dialogue is so dry, and so it's dry. You're just sitting there, you're just listening to these characters drone and just drone on and talk about shit that you don't care about. None of these characters have anything interesting to say. Carter is the most generic, gravelly voiced, wannabe, angst-ridden bullshit. My parents are dead. He is such a generic, not generic, cliched backstory about how he was in the war. Everything in this guy's past, everything. He has the most cliched, tortured past. Every single thing in his past has gone wrong. He's like, he was in the war. All of his friends are dead. During the war, there was a fire, and his wife and his children are dead. His parents are dead. Everyone this guy knows, his partner is dead. Everyone is dead. This guy is like a major alcoholic. This guy is like Martin Riggs and Batman and the Punisher. This guy puts like 3 guns in his mouth in the morning. He's like, I can't,
But the things he saw when we were in the Great War.
Terrible things happen during war.
His name is like Bob Angst or something. It's Agent Will Carter. Again, the most generic name possible. I can't believe I remember it. It's so generic. he looks like Robert Patrick. He looks like the T-1000, which is fitting because for the longest, I actually thought that might be a plot twist. I thought that could be, because it starts off with some kind of thing where he gets attacked by an alien and he gets shot. And I didn't get far enough in the game to realize it, but there's probably a plot twist where he's probably like some kind of alien hybrid, or I think maybe the artifact turns him into a hybrid, or he's secretly some kind of psychic or something like that. I don't know. He actually could be a robot or something like that. I don't know. But there's probably a plot twist involving some kind of like something with an alien. But I like to think that it's Robert Patrick and he's actually a Terminator, because if you notice, he doesn't blink. Watch this. Like, in this dialogue option, he never blinks. It's weird. Like, ever. It's like somebody forgot to program a blinking subroutine. Wow. He just stares. It's amazing. It's like I'm looking for John Connor. Anyway. Other things that bother me is, you know, given the setting, it strangely rips off a lot of other things. Like, for some reason, you're given, like, a pit boy. When you hit things, your gun just, like, vanishes up. Like, it just vanishes. Instead of hitting something with your gun, which makes sense, you just punch things. Like, your gun vanishes and you punch things with your pit boy. Sorry, your pit boy. You're given a pit boy, which is like a power fist or something like that. I don't even know. It's like alien technology, but again, the animation is so it's so jarring and uneven. It is distracting to me. There's other things that I find really unusual. Oh shit! I knocked over my coat. There's other things that are just really unusual. Like, you're given a standard backpack, and then you essentially find other backpacks that are advanced technology. Like, you know, but the thing is, it doesn't remove the standard backpack, which it gives you no bonuses. But you have to manually change the backpack for all of your agents. Why would I ever not change the backpack? It's now obsolete. There's no bonus to keeping the standard backpack. Why would it not just immediately remove the standard backpack? I don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense. Why do none of the agents wear any kind of body armor? Why did they just go into battle wearing fucking G-Men suits? Like, they don't take any effort to wear any kind of body armor of any sort. They just are like, just put on our hats and G-Men suits. Yeah, we're fine. I don't understand it. The one thing I found fucking hilarious was that eventually you're given the option to choose your mission. And so you get, like, at some point way later on down the line, you can finally choose among, like, 3 missions to go to. And one is, like, recover an alien artifact. One is, like, some train is under attack by aliens. And another is, it's called a minor mission. A minor mission. They're all minor missions. Recover artifact, stop an attack on a train, or something like that. And then another minor mission is that a nuclear missile silo has been taken over by aliens. The minor mission is to go retake the nuclear missile silo before they launch the missile at an unknown location. Minor. No rush. No biggie. When you can. This could only start. Could only start the next World War. You know, whenever. It's minor. And sure enough, when you get there, it's targeted for Washington, D.C.
Oh my God. That's Washington, D.C.
Then we better find that launch computer fast. This thing is ready to go.
Minor mission! So, I like to imagine, like, what it would have happened had you not gone there. Like, I'm sure nothing would have happened, like, in terms of plot, but, like, had you gone after the artifact, you come back and you're like, well, good one, Carter. You went after the train. Now DC is fucking gone! And honestly, that's one of the better case scenarios. Imagine if they launched it towards fucking Moscow. Fuck me. Yeah, a lot more than Moscow would have been gone. Minor mission my balls. I'd like to minor mission my dick up whoever designed this fucking game. This is fucking a nuclear missile silo gets taken, and whoever was designing the dossier for these missions is assigning priorities to these. He's like, oh, nuclear missile silo in North Dakota's been taken. C. You know, priority C. When they get to it.
Barnes, what the hell did I just nuke?
You know, I talked to the guys who made XCOM, Enemy Unknown. And Joe and I, we talked to those guys. And they heard of the betrayal thing. They heard of it. And they thought it was hilarious. And they're like, we wanted to make you guys happy. Because we wanted to stay true to XCOM. And they're like, you know, we wanted to put an achievement in there called Betrayal. And I was like, we couldn't get that passed. But we thought it was really funny. And I was like, you know, at least we hoped you didn't get offended because, you know, we were coming from a place of love here, you know. But I was like, they cared, you know. I was like, I wasn't a huge fan of Enemy Unknown, but it came from a good place. I could tell they cared. You know, I thought there was a lot of improvements. I felt it fell short in a lot of places, but at least you could tell they cared. I just felt like watching this game. You know, I could tell the people who designed I could tell the people at the bottom level cared, but I felt like the people at the upper tier management, I could tell they didn't care. You know, I don't think the people who made the game at the bottom level cared. I mean, they had passion, I could tell, but like the people at the upper level, when they released this piece of shit, they didn't care. You know, because there's some of this shit. But in terms of gameplay, this is what really... Here's where... Okay. Again, now I've been picking on the setting. You know, I've been picking on the story. And you're like, well, it's a typical alien invasion plot, and you said you wouldn't pick on it, and then you went ahead and did it. Who cares? How's the game? It's not good. It's not good. Because, as with any kind of game involving a squad... As with any game involving a squad, it's only as good as how much the artificial intelligence pisses you off. Do I look happy? Do I? I'll give you a minute. Take your time. These guys are idiots. They're fucking stupid. Where do I start? Okay. When you get into a fight, basically you start off the fight by going into your slow time radial menu, and you tell them to go somewhere. You tell each one to... Basically, you're telling them one got to go left, one got to go right. So you can flank people. It's kind of it's kind of one part full spectrum warrior, if you've ever seen that, because you do way more damage to them. This is where it kind of diverges from Mass Effect, because in Mass Effect, your guns kind of do standard damage no matter where you are, in a way. In the Bureau, you do way more damage to a guy if you are flanking, if you're shooting from the side and they're not paying attention to you, or if you're shooting from behind. And that is one good thing about the game. I like that. If you are shooting, if they're not paying attention to you and you're shooting from the side from where they're not getting cover, that is actually kind of interesting. I did like that. Full Spectrum Warrior was like entirely about that. You would not do any damage unless you were shooting from a flanking position. That entire game was based around that. It was basically a training scenario for like Marines and shit like that. But anyway, so like that's the entire reason you maneuver your guys. The problem is they're so fucking stupid. Is once you position your guys, they are either they're so single-minded on this task that they will either blunder directly into enemy fire. Like if you tell them to run to the left and go into cover, if they blunder, like if somebody else comes around cover directly, like if an alien comes around and they're running directly towards each other, like, you know, let's say you run around a corner and you see another alien running directly around the corner, like a fucking brute. Like a Wookiee comes around the corner and you come around the corner and you've told him to run past the Wookiee, but you didn't know the Wookiee was there. He'll be like, I'm following orders! And he'll die. Maybe I'd complain if it was the other way around. Maybe if I'd been like, I told him to run past. Maybe he should have been smarter and circled around. I don't know. But like, I would think the AI would be smart enough not to try to bull rush past the 12-foot tall fucking beast. Because he's going to lose. And he does lose. So, you know what? I don't care if he tries to either run around or if he basically says fuck it and runs back. But as long as he doesn't try to run through the guy, which is what he does, he's a fucking idiot. So he will die. Next problem. Once he gets there, he doesn't stay there. Or he stays there no matter what. So it's hard to predict. So scenario 1. He stands behind cover. He's right here. Now, scenario 1 is that somebody flanks him and starts shooting at him. Doesn't matter. He'll stay there. And he won't tell you that he's being flanked. He'll just sit there and he'll die. Scenario 2. He's in a perfectly good position, and then for no reason at all, he'll start moving. I don't know where the fuck he's going. You'll just see him start running across the middle of the field, and I'm like, I didn't tell him to go anywhere. I didn't tell him to fucking go anywhere. Like,
help me! Ow! Damn, Carter!
Later on, you see there are snipers, and you don't want the snipers are bad. They hurt. So like, I started to realize how good flanking was, because it's like night and day. You know, your guns don't do a whole lot when you're shooting them from the front, but from the side, man, it's like, wow, they drop easy. So I was like, my guys don't know how to flank because the AI is fucking horrible. You know, they don't know how to do shit. And besides, they don't throw grenades. I'm the only guy who knows how to throw grenades. So I decided that I would be the guy who cowboys out and goes flanking. So I'm like, okay, you guys draw aggro, and actually there is the commandos. The commando class specifically draws aggro. So I'd be like, okay, support guy and commando guy, you stand here and draw aggro, and you heal commando guy when that's a pretty standard thing to do, right? I'm like, okay. So I specifically ordered them to essentially move to where they are. I was like, move 2 feet to the left, and then draw aggro. And then I cowboyed out and went there. It worked for about 20 seconds. And then, so I circle around to the right. And there's basically like a killing field. A long rectangular killing field to the right. And there's no way to cross this killing field. So I'm running down the cover. Basically the snipers are... There's like snipers crisscrossing the killing field. You're not getting past there. There's cover, but you're not getting past there. So I'm running down the covered way to the right to get rid of the snipers. So I'm running down to the right, and my guys look over and see me doing this. And they're like, we have to help him! They fucking do a Reb Brown commando charge directly down the middle of the killing field. Right down the center. I didn't tell them to do that. I did not issue the regroup command. I specifically told them to. There's no hold position command. There isn't. There's a move command, but there's no hold position command. So I thought maybe move would be good enough. Like, stay here until... No, they're not. So, like, they would run directly down the middle, and they got fucking butchered. I don't know what to do. I don't know what else to tell you. So, like, this is the AI I'm dealing. Sometimes they'll stay, sometimes they won't. And that's the real problem with the artificial intelligence here. I can't. It's infuriating. And that's the hardest part about this game is, the game, it's not unbeatable on the hard difficulties. It's not. It's difficult, but the thing that gets you killed is the artificial intelligence. And that is what's infuriating about a game, is where the game isn't that hard, but what gets you killed is the AI, your partner AI. So you're like, this wouldn't be that hard, except my own partners are getting me killed. I can't take it, So the game is bad enough just because of poor design decisions, kind of lazy graphics, lazy plot. It's bad enough, but it's just it's really a mediocre Mass Effect clone, and it really makes you appreciate how good the artificial intelligence of the Mass Effect games are, because very, very rarely did I, at least, I don't know about you, but I have very rarely actively cursed the artificial partner intelligence of Mass Effect. Very rarely. Because, like, almost always when I issue a command to the Mass Effect partners, not only are they able to do it promptly, but they are in position when I tell them to be. They will hold position when I tell them to, and it's almost like they're always there when I need them to be somewhere. Like, it's so well designed in comparison, and it feels like the Bureau, it's just rushed. For a game that's been in development for this long, why does it feel so rushed? It feels slapped together. And it probably was. It's probably been passed around so many times between so many different studios. It's had so many different deadlines, and it's been redone so many times. It's been in development since 2006. And yet, it still was probably rushed, because it was probably torn down like a year and a half ago, and they're like, make it better, do it again and put gray aliens in it. And they're like, but we just did an art design, we can't do gray aliens. And they're like, fuck it, do it again. It sucks. I gave it a fair chance. I really did. And I know some of you are laughing. They're like, no, you didn't. You called betrayal. You're the betrayal guy. Bullshit, Spoony. You hate I did. I swear to God I did. In fact, I was actually somewhat optimistic. I was like, if it's Mass Effect, it shouldn't be that bad. It sucks. It sucks hard. In fact, it's worse than bad. I've said this before, but I was like, some games are worse than bad because what's worse than bad is boring. If it's bad, I can scream about bad. I can bitch about bad. I can make fun of bad. Boring is just dull. I can't do anything with boring. The Bureau, it's just boring. It's substandard. It's like, if you buy the Bureau, you're like, you know, you get a really, really bad game, you could scream about it, you could bitch about it, you're like, ah. You know, the worst thing you can say about this game, the only thing that you could rage about is the AI. And you could rage about the AI in so many other games. XCOM, the Bureau, it's just not worth it. It's just boring. You'll just fast forward through the dialogue. It sucks. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's a betrayal. And I'm not even enjoying it. I'm not even enjoying, you know, you'd think I'd be like all happy. You'd think I'd be happy, like vindicated that I'm saying like, I was right. You think I'm happy? You think I'm happy holding up a game that like and saying like, I was right, it sucks. No, I'm not. I want to play a good game. Don't you think I want to hold up an XCOM game and say like, wow, I was wrong, this game rocks. I want to hold up a good XCOM game and be like, holy shit, I had no idea how wrong I was. This game fucking rocks. This game sucks. That doesn't make me happy. It sucks. That doesn't make me happy. Don't waste your fucking time on this betrayal. I'm not happy. Fuck off with this game. I'm out. Play some other game. Play Enemy Unknown. At least that game is well designed and it's fun. Play that. That one's worthy of your time. Have fun, guys.